Well, it looks like I've come out of consulting retirement for at least another week. We've got a very interesting case that I just couldn't say no to. So I find myself in Montrose, Colorado, and this gentleman owns a group of vertically integrated companies. They have a stone manufacturing company that make countertops. They have a cabinet making company, which makes kitchens. And they have a door making company, which makes cabinet doors. Now we're gonna have a little peek at all three, obviously while we're here. But the case on hand is the door company. I know a thing or two about making doors. Well, it looks like I found the place. I just don't see any people.
Hey, good morning. I'm Jason Yeager. I own the High Mesa Craftsman in Colorado, and we do custom cabinetry, millwork. We also do granite countertop and stone surfacing, and then we have a cabinet door company. And I contacted Brad because I need lots of help. That's just the truth. And so some things are going okay, and some things are less than they could be. So I'm excited to have Brad here and help us with continuation of learning lean, and because we're just babes in the woods. We just started in September, so we're just barely getting our feet wet, and we've got a long ways to go, but we're really excited to have Brad here and learn from him, and also help improve our processes, especially in our door shop. So
Wow, okay, what a fascinating shop. I'm gonna do a quick run through just so you can see how much stuff they actually do under one roof. It's really, really incredible. So let's just do a quick little plant tour and show you what they got going on. So over here we've got a rock mill, straight line ripsaw back there, big joiner, big D4S winding machine, some clamps, and then they even do their own resawing with one of these babies. So the breakout happens here. We pan over, and we've got a great little U-shaped cell here that makes all of their doors, and another little U-shaped cell here that makes all of their drawers. So all their doors and drawer manufacturing is happening right here. Then we can turn around, we can see they've got a big CNC, nice and close to the edge bender, really like that. And then we walk through over here. This looks like the custom area where they do some custom stuff. And this is super crazy. This will be hard to see in a video, but this is steel. Then we go over here, and they've got their own veneer department with a press. So they make all of their own veneer. And then we head down here. This is where cabinet assembly happens. They've got a case clamp here, parts fed in here, glued up in the case clamp, doors and drawers on there, and out the door. Big spray machine, pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
This looks like, prep area for finishing. And then some other fun stuff over here. Spray booth. And then it looks like a drying room over here. So that's most of the wood manufacturing. Now we can check out the stone, because that's in the same building. Big fancy CNC routers, saws. Now we're pulling in to the door company. Step one is measure, measure, measure. So guess what we're learning? A little bit about the over the line chart. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're at the door factory, and we're gonna walk you through the process, and we're gonna hang out some dirty laundry here, but don't you be judgmental, because I'll come to your factory next and we'll do a walkthrough there. But you'll see how companies grow over time and they just start putting things where they fit, not necessarily in the best spot. So without further ado, let's go for a walk. So everything, the raw material starts out here in this warehouse, and this warehouse, then we have to take lumber and travel into the shop. Once the lumber's in the building, then we have to drive the lumber all the way down to the far end. We stack it here in front of the rib saw, and we sort it. And it gets sorted into two piles, stiles and rails and panels. So if I'm a panel, we'll follow that one through first. I backtrack to here to one of these three saws, and we'll say it's this one. We go here, up onto this saw, and we cut all the lengths. Once the lengths are cut, we gotta go over to here, through the rib saw. Once we go through the rib saw, then we gotta go over here to the RF press. There's some panels that are glued up. Once we're out of the RF press, then we gotta go over here to the sliding table saw. Then we cut the panels to rough length, and we go over here to one of these machines, depending on what it is, and we plane it. We go through the planer, we come out of the planer, from the planer we come out and we go back here to the sliding table saw for sizing. So once it's sized here, then we go back around here to the sander. We come through the sander, and then from the sander we start heading over to this area for shaping. So in this works out where the shaping happens. Shaping, we go all the way this bench for sanding. So from here, and we're measuring all of this. So from here, we have to go all the way to that machine. So we come through this machine, and the next stop is over there in the assembly. How you doing?
Good, you?
Good. We're just measuring.
Okay.
So what's happening now is the panel's going to wait in this staging area for the stiles and rails to show up. So now we're going to follow the stiles and rails through the system until they reach assembly. We're going to go from our lumber pile to the straight line rib saw. Okay, so now we've got the door assembled. We still got a few more processes to go as the door and panel are now mated together. Let's do that. Assembly bench, we go back up. Through the sander. Then we go over to that CNC router. We go around here, back into the corner for some detail sanding. From the detail sanding all the way back to that sander. this sander, and we go back around to skidding and shipping. Just a little bit of transportation waste going on there with the machines being so far apart. So we're definitely going to tackle that, but let's add this up and see where we're at. Okay, so we got a grand total of, this is all of our calculations, 1,024 feet that the panel plus the stiles and rails plus the assembled door travel through the shop. So it's not up to us to say whether that's good or bad. The whole goal is to reduce it over time, but it's not great. So as I'm editing this video, it's absolutely worth mentioning that it's easy to point out the bad stuff, but if you were really watching, you would have seen all the good stuff. You would have seen that the shop had all the machines that they needed. The shop was absolutely spotless, considering that they make dust all day, totally spotless. All the machines worked really well. There was no machine in the place that was like, well, we got to do this or that. I mean, everything was maintained and kept at the highest level. And the product coming out the end was fabulous. So, you know, they did all the hard work. They did all the hard stuff. And, you know, unfortunately for them, we're going to get the credit and be like, oh, Brad showed up and did this. But let it be known that that factory was really, really, really good, better than most on the way in the door. We're just going to try and organize a few things and take it to the next level. So now we're doing a little bit of train the trainer. I taught Jason about buffer management and control points yesterday, and today he's going to teach Paul.
A day, right? And we say, you know, we like a goal all ready to go for that production. Does that make sense? Yeah, so I just learned from Brad about a control point yesterday afternoon. And so Brad asked me to teach Paul.
I learned this morning, so that was about an hour ago. Now I get to teach Clay what I remember from a quick lesson on control points and buffer zones. So.
And now we're at the spot where we are going to start reducing batches a little bit. We're breaking down these big orders into smaller ones. The who's doing what chart.
All right, so what we're doing here is we've taken all of the responsibilities and allocated those to the different employees, and we've taken some of the work orders, brought those into a sizable batch, and we've given 10 doors and stiles and rails to the first employee to get him through the system. Our goal is 70 doors, so he's got an hour to get all of his work done, and we're timing him to see how that goes.
And the first 10 doors worth have already gone through here, and they're sitting here ready to go through the molar, and you can see the difference. Look at this pile compared to, I'll go find another pile, compared to these piles, which were yesterday. So I got one word for that. Flow. Already on to the next process. And he's going back to start the next batch of 10. So what do you think? The end of your first day?
Oh, it feels good. We can see on paper how this can work. It's, you know, we gave it a try. I think that given a few improvements with efficiency of movement and maybe even moving some tools, we'll get to that number pretty quick.
Setting up our control point, giving them a buffer. So now we've got some nice small batches running through the shapers. You can see yesterday's pile. Kind of a big daunting stack compared to today. Finally got the boss working out here, and that will be the first part we need to start to fill our buffer over in assembly. In another 30 minutes, it's going to be a beautiful thing. Yes, first batch of 10 into our buffer. Let's rock. There we go, we're draining the swamp, and screens are green, baby. Screens are green. There we go, it's starting to work.
Today, to kind of create a flow and get the glut out of the system, we've processed 78 doors.
78 already. What time is it?
It's just a little before lunchtime, 11:48.
What was our average before?
Our average per day was 54.
this is my favorite part. So we're at the control point, and Jonathan here, this guy can put a door together in 2 minutes. But we don't need a door in 2 minutes. We need a door in 6 minutes. How do you feel about slowing down?
It's hard. Not easy.
Slow down to speed up. All right. Day 3, team's off. We got our plan. Let's go. Control point loaded with doors. Someone should. Our videos can never do it justice, but you gotta. I just wish everyone could be here and see what's going on. Look at the breakout area here. When we did the original run around, there's tons of carts everywhere. Now, the 2-cart stage for parts, it's all we need. No random carts anywhere else. It's happening. Look at all the empty carts. No work in process. And we'll run over here. This is my favorite part. And if you're not doing this, please, please, please start, because the screens are green. We want a door every 6 minutes. Susan never forgets to push the button because she's amazing. 4:45. A little bit fast. We'll have to slow down. Which sounds crazy, but I'm going to make them slow down. So we hit our target through the control point here an hour and a half early today, because that's why. And she was producing at 5:10 a door, and we were going for 6 minutes. So she got a little extra time. Thank God we're short some people. We put her in another department to fill up the buffers for Monday. I can't make this stuff up. So I came back here to see where are the doors, because we want to hit our 70, not just through the control point, but our 70 through the end of the line as well. And I didn't see any doors, so I start panicking. And so I run over, and I'm like, where's those doors? Not only did they get through the control point and crossing the finish line, they're already on a skid. This team has been awesome. Friday afternoon, the day is done. My voice is gone. The shop is quiet, but there's our control point with 2 days worth of work ready to rock for Monday morning. How did it go this week, and how did we finish the week off? How did it compare from where we were to where we are?
Well, we finished out a pretty good week. It was interesting to see how the team really embraced the lean process, really were willing to try some new things, and we all work together to make something pretty cool happen. By the end of the week, we had our control center, our control point full with 70 doors. We've produced 70 doors each of the last 2 days. Our previous average was 54 doors, and we've got 70 plus doors in our buffer zone, and in the pipeline coming into the buffer zone more than that. So we're looking good through the next week, being able to continue to meet what we set out as a goal. And of course in the beginning it felt a little bit chaotic because we were breaking the old system to rebuild our new system. But by this afternoon today, the shop floor was a little bit cleaner. Carts were in places that made sense. There was less whip on the floor, and the employees were all smiling at the end of the day. It felt good. Like I feel like we worked really hard this week to make this happen, but I think that we're set up well. I've got, like I said a minute ago, I think I've got the layup, I've got the assist. I just need to take it home next week and continue to build on what we've learned. So very excited about that.
Well, if you've hung in for this long, you deserve the recap. Okay, so first step is measure. You want to know where you're at so you can know where you're going. So the first thing you establish is measurements. Once you start measuring, please, please, please use that production timer. I don't know how anyone runs without it. So you're going to measure and you're going to start counting your throughput. Regardless of what it is, don't make any excuses, start counting. Next thing we do is what we call drain the swamp. So usually there's work in process all over the place. We got to get that out of there so we can create a system and see what's going on. From there, we then create a control point. This eliminates your wandering bottleneck. Right now in your factories, your bottleneck is wandering all over the place. You're chasing it, and some days it's in one department, some days it's in another, which makes it really, really hard to manage the factory. So we establish a control point. We create a bottleneck on purpose, and then the verbiage switches from bottleneck to control point, because at that point, we're in control of it. So then we create a control point. Then we protect the control point with a buffer. Then we put someone at the control point full time, no matter what. This is the heartbeat of your factory. You know what happens when your heart stops? You die. So we want that heartbeat going all the time. And then we start reducing batch sizes. Then we assess flow. We had to make a few changes. In breakout, we realized very quickly that a batch of 10 is a super bad idea. So what we ended up doing was increasing that dramatically for breakout, so people could pick and choose through the lumber that they needed. But then as soon as it comes out of breakout, we knock those batch sizes down again and continue the flow through the factory. We saw a 30% increase in throughput, and we didn't even move a machine yet. Imagine what's going to happen in that factory when we start connecting processes. So stay tuned for visit number 2 at High Mesa. We're going to give them about 30 days or so to stabilize their production at that new number, and then we're going to go back in and rattle the cage again. It was a phenomenal week. So I got to give every single one of you a shout out. We got Clay, Jonathan, Robin, James, Steve, and Susan. You were the best 6 people anyone could ever hope to work for. Thank you for being so open to trying new things, and you just crushed it. Can't wait to see you again. So another interesting factoid about this company is that it has just been sold. So Rob, the previous owner, has just sold it to Jason, and I wanted to memorialize this moment and say, Rob, you built an awesome company, a heck of a company. I was absolutely proud to be there helping you guys, and I think you hand-selected the exact right person to take it to the next level. So, Jason, you got the baton.
All right. Okay. Brad's got me recapping this week. Brad was invited into the Maelstrom, and neither of us were quite sure what he was up against, but he came in here and did a great job. Worked with the staff, worked with me, which is no small task, and really helped us along. You don't know what you don't know, and so it's just, you can't overstate the value of learning and the investment in continue your education and getting experience that's outside what you know to come and help. And so thankful for Brad and coming, his time, and he's really skillful in working with the staff and the people. That's not always easy, and I think he did a great job of that. So super thankful for him, and kind of wish he could be around next week too.
Me too.